Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Are we good on that? Got my photos up. Now we'll go live. What's going on, everybody? I'm Relationship Expert Terry Duran, and today I'm just going to be talking about a couple random posts that I put up on my Instagram page. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the page. Those of you that haven't already, go check out my latest episode of my More Than Love podcast. It's available at iTunes and Google Play. It's also on my YouTube page and my Facebook page. So it's a lot of different ways that you can get access to it, so you can watch it when it's convenient for you. It's a lot of entertaining conversation and insightful dialogue that y'all should be able to benefit from. I had a couple posts that I'm going to go over. A couple of them was on my Instagram story, so some of y'all may not have actually saw it. So the first post was a question that I put up on a poll that I put up. It said a woman finds out her boyfriend has sexual pics and videos of women he's been with in his phone. She makes a big deal about it, and he erases them to appease her. He knows they're backed up on his iCloud account. Did he deceive her, or did he do what she asked? That was the poll question. As far as the question goes, I think he did what she asked him to do. As far as the topic itself, whether an ex having sexual pictures or sexual videos or whatnot, I think people record those things to save the memory. You know, it's mental stimulation. It can trigger a thought. It can trigger a memory. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to try to fuck with the person again. And I don't think it's practical to expect somebody to just delete all their memories because they started dating somebody new. Like, you're not guaranteed to be with them forever. You're not guaranteed to laugh with them forever. So they just supposed to delete everything that they have that reminds them of something from their past. That's not real practical. So that's not something that most men or women are going to do, I don't think. Some people get really insecure about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they feel really some type of way about them having memories about somebody else or thinking about somebody else, but that's something that you can't really regulate. You know what I mean? And so somebody that deletes it off their phone so that to make you feel better, I think that is compromising. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean that he's going to never have access to it, or he don't have a stash, a hidden email folder or something to that nature. But those are the type of things where you do some things to make somebody feel better or make them feel more secure, especially if they insecure over something that ain't really an issue. You know what I mean? Like, I never really understood the mentality of the person that makes a big deal out of stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so they got something in their phone that turns them on or is sexual. That doesn't mean that they violating your relationship. It doesn't mean that that doesn't change anything about your current situation with them. And so to treat it as if it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You know what I mean? Whenever these type of conversations come up, people, what if your wife had a guy's dick in her phone? Like, they hit me with these kind of questions. And I'm not that type of person. Like, I wouldn't care. Like, I wouldn't care what made my wife's pussy wet or what made her horny. Like, I don't care if it was watching a movie and a character made her horny or a scene made her horny. I'm not worried about that. I'm just glad she's horny, and I'm gonna benefit from her being horny. Like, I'm not gonna dissect and play psychiatrist and figure out what it means. Like, I don't care if you thought about the first time you sucked dick in high school and you got horny. It doesn't matter what you got horny over. I'm just gonna enjoy the horniness. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way my logic is set up, and I would think it should be the same way with a woman. Okay, so your man looked at some pictures in his phone and his dick got hard. That's the worst thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an issue. Don't you benefit when his dick get hard? At least if you enjoy fucking him. Like, so How did that hurt your relationship? So it's not the fact that he has the pictures or the videos that's hurting your relationship. It's the fact that you're treating it like it's the end of the world or treating him as if it means something that it doesn't. That's the problem. But a lot of people won't be able to get to that layer of understanding because of their insecurity. The second post that I put up, I just asked a question just to see how y'all felt about insecurity. And so the question was, is a woman that doesn't trust her man to be around any attractive women, even her friends and family members, without trying to fuck them, insecure? And the answer is absolutely. That's the textbook definition of what insecure is. You are not secure that your man is going to respect your relationship or respect, you know what I'm saying, you enough to not cheat with somebody else. And so if now it's one thing for a woman to be paranoid that her man's gonna fuck somebody every time he leave the house. But you're on another level of insecurity if you don't think he can be around your friends and family members without fucking them. That means you don't trust them either. You know what I mean? Like, not only are you under this warped mentality that everybody want to fuck your man or he got it like that to where he can just get pussy every time he leave the house. You don't even trust your friends and family members enough to be around your man. That means you are insecure to the third or fourth power. Like, that's more than just regular insecurity. That is next level insecurity. So, again, I don't see how you could be in a relationship with somebody that you can't trust to be around somebody else. If there's a female in your life that you can't trust to be around your man without giving him some pussy, she's not really your friend. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a friend. That's not a relationship where you trust that individual. So I don't see how people that have these kind of mindsets could actually think that they're in a position to have a healthy relationship when we know that insecurity is a relationship killer, and the side effects of being insecure ultimately kill relationships over time. So fortunately, a lot of women were able to see that. So 85% of the audience that answered the question responded that the woman would be insecure in that situation. But that 15% that's saying that she's not, they in denial. Total denial. Like, that is the textbook definition of what insecurity is. That means that you are not secure in your relationship or secure in yourself regarding being cheated on, being left for somebody else, things of that nature. When we're talking about relationships. Now, obviously, insecurity can manifest itself in other ways. You could be insecure about your job, about your appearance, about different things. But when we're talking about insecure in a relationship context, you're worried about your partner cheating on you or leaving you or choosing to be with somebody else instead of you. That's why you try to cheat-proof your relationship. You try to dictate who they can talk to, who they can look at, who they can be around, who they can follow, you're trying to control every aspect of their life to prevent them from finding somebody to leave your ass with. And that's impossible to do. And the people that attempt to do it ultimately end up pushing their partner away with that type of behavior. Because it means that you don't trust them. And if you don't have enough trust to give your partner the benefit of the doubt, where you can't at least have a conversation with them before jumping to a conclusion, then you're not in a position to have a healthy relationship. And that's why people that you see exhibit these type of behaviors struggle to have healthy relationships. So the third post that I wanted to talk about was a post that I just put up. I had posted it about a year or some change ago, and I came across it, so I reposted it today. It was about a guy that made a screenshot, a spreadsheet of how often his woman rejected him for sex. Now, not only did she reject him 90% of the time, some of the reasons that she gave him for rejecting him, saying things like, I just left the gym, I'm sweaty, I feel gross, and then going to sleep without taking a shower. You know, like, that's bullshit. No woman that feels gross or feels disgusting is about to hop her ass in her bed and go to sleep next to a man, right? Saying that she waited till the next morning to take a shower. That sounds like a woman that fucked somebody else and is coming up with the bullshit excuse to not have sex with her man. Like, been a side dude for a long time, so I know how women operate when they cheating. And that sounds like some textbook cheating behavior. I'm gross, I feel disgusting. But you lay your ass right down. You got a shower, a tub in your house and don't do nothing about it. And you go to sleep and wait till the next day to do something about it. That's bullshit. You know, the excuses that she's giving them. I'm watching the show, a rerun. I mean, we all know we got TiVo, we got apps where you can watch whatever you want to watch. So the excuses that she's giving him repetitively are minute bullshit excuses. So in this type of situation, now I don't know if the dude cheated or not, but if he did, could you blame him? You know what I mean? Like, can you really be like, oh no, you should have never done it. You just should have, like, I mean, just think about it like this, right? A woman, your man asks you for sex 3 or 4 days in a row and you tell him no every single time. Do you think the motherfucker just stopped being horny all of a sudden? Do you just think that on day 5, oh, he don't want no pussy, so I don't even need to bring it up? Like, a woman that would have that type of mentality deserves to end up getting cheated on. That's what the fuck you get. If you don't have enough common sense to meet your man's needs when he's coming to you to get his needs met, then you can't be crying and complaining when he finds somebody else to meet them. If your kid came up to you and kept asking you, Mom, I'm hungry, can you fix dinner? Can you fix me something to eat? And you don't, you can't be offended that they called their dad or they called somebody else to bring them some fucking food. You failed to get their needs met. And it's the same way when it comes to sex. And this illustrates a reason a lot of men don't want to commit to women. A lot of women misuse the fact that their men put the keys to his sex life in her control. They abuse that privilege, that power. And when you start to see how women view things and how they value pussy, etc., you understand that it's a power play. But the women that end up using it as a manipulation tool, doing things that make their man feel unwanted, you're creating the type of environment that increases the chance that you get cheated on or left. So if that's not your goal, now obviously if you already fucking somebody else or you cheating on them, you probably don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a woman that'll just reject her man with these type of excuses don't really give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's making it clear that keeping you happy and keeping you sexually satisfied is nowhere near on our list of priorities. And so that's the type of position a man don't want to get in. That's why men are reluctant to commit to women, reluctant to get married. You know what I mean? Like, that's real. How women, and I mean, now part of it is a lot of women don't have proper context on what a man's bachelor lifestyle is like. So me explaining the ins and outs of how that operates is probably overwhelming to a lot of women because they just don't really get it. You know what I mean? They don't understand. How can a man just sleep with all these women? Like, they have all these silly questions like, how can a man just feel comfortable doing this? Like, because he's a man. Like, it's not it doesn't require this maximum thought or this level that he has to reach in order before he fucks somebody. Men have drastically different feelings about sex than women do. That's fucking common sense. Like, there are millions of things that illustrate that in the real world. So he's not like when men are talking about fucking a new chick or whatnot, they not like you got to fall in love with her. You got to get to know her. 2 men can look at a woman and instantly start talking about how they will fuck her. Like, it's not no high burden that has to be reached in order for a woman to get some dick. It's just not. I mean, y'all all know that you can get dick on demand. You know that it's Friday night. If you wanted to go fuck somebody tonight, you could. If you wanted some dick, you could just answer some DMs and get it. So it's not like this is some mystery that men just pass out dick is just some earth-shattering information. Like, this is stuff that you already know. You know how men feel about sex. So, I mean, a woman that will get a man to commit to her and then do him like that, more often than not, she's giving that pussy to somebody else. That's why she's coming up with these silly excuses. And not giving a damn about maintaining her sex life with her husband. I bet you the dude she's fucking is satisfied. You know what I'm saying? So these are the kind of situations that men want to avoid. And why they often choose not to get in relationships. Because it seems like when you kicking it with a woman or y'all single, you get all the pussy, unlimited pussy. But as soon as you commit to a woman, that's when she starts rationing it out. That's when she starts trying to put limits on it and, you know, making alterations to the sex life. And for a lot of men, they're like, what the fuck happened with all them blowjobs in the car and sucking dick on the highway and all the shit, fucking in the parking lot? Like, what happened to all the shit we was doing when I wasn't your man? Like, logically, he thinks becoming your boyfriend would entitle him to more of those type of things, not less. So men often feel played when they get in committed relationships for that very reason. So, I mean, these scenarios are so common and so basic, it doesn't seem like there would be a big level of confusion about it or a big debate. They seem like pretty basic things from a male perspective. And none of them involve a man having malicious intent or going around just disrespecting his woman or not caring about his relationship. None of the things I've talked about today indicate that type of attitude, because quality men generally don't have that type of attitude. They're not going to commit to somebody that they don't give a fuck about or don't want things to work with. They're not going to have children with somebody that they're not trying to build with long term. So to make it like that's how most men operate is very inaccurate. So I just wanted to touch on those things and highlight, you know, give a little bit more detail into how men really feel about those things and those scenarios when they come up. Hopefully y'all learn something from it and can put some context on how men feel about those things so that you can avoid doing the same situation when you're in a relationship. So I guess we can try to get into some questions. If y'all got something to ask me.